Hello everybody, this is Brian Sequin and welcome to my YouTube channel. So uh, for our first video here, we're going to be talking about my dividend stock portfolio that I'm building through M1 Finance. M1 Finance is the platform I prefer due to the many features that they offer, but um, they also offer fractional shares. I wanted to use M1 Finance just because of this, because this portfolio is going to be relatively small compared to many portfolios out there, especially on YouTube. But I just want to give the idea to people who want to start building a portfolio and don't have that much capital that they can actually start building a portfolio, especially a dividend stock portfolio, and invest in long term. So one of the many things I like about M1 Finance is when you're building your portfolio, there's this feature that allows you to build your portfolio and then see, based on historical data, on what that portfolio would have done within the market. So here, within the past year, from May 14th, 2019 to May 12th, 2020, you can see that this portfolio would have yielded you a negative 0.94% in the past year. This is with 22 stock holdings and a 3.47 dividend yield. So this number does not factor in the income or the cash flow that you're receiving from the dividends. And as you can see here, there is a 0% expense ratio. So for this stock portfolio, I'm going to be only using equities, no indexes or bonds. But these companies are blue chip companies with good value, good business model, and I believe that they provide a good value to this portfolio while providing good cash flow. Let's go ahead and dive into my portfolio. Uh, as I said earlier, it has 22 stock holdings and a 3.47 dividend yield. Uh, and so one of the features of M1 Finance is for you to able to allocate a certain percentage of your portfolio to stocks. And this allows you to essentially customize your own portfolio to your own liking, and it will invest it to meet those target allocations. And so as you can see here, my top three stocks with the greatest amount of allocation at 7% each is AT&T, Johnson and Johnson, and Pepsi. So I chose these stocks because they're a very good value. They have good growth and a good business model. I think each of these companies have been around for a long period of time, and they still operate very well, and they produce good cash flow. Um, and at the end of the day, this is a dividend stock portfolio, and we are looking to see a good dividend yield. All right, so next is AbbVie Incorporated. This is a medical company, and you can click on it and then it'll give you some information. But I use Seeking Alpha mainly to use analytics to you know understand the company a little bit more and evaluate whether they should be in or out of my portfolio, and what I feel like they should be allocated for within my portfolio. So AbbVie is a drug company with a strong exposure to immunology and oncology. Being in the medical field, I feel as though I wanted to add a few medical companies or healthcare companies, and I feel like AbbVie is a good fit for my stock portfolio. One, they do give a 5.22% dividend yield, so that just shows that they'll bring in some cash flow for our portfolio. They're not a small company at all with a market cap of 160.6 billion and a PE ratio of 15.6. For my evaluations, I don't typically rely on PE ratio. I know some people might use it in their analytics, but in another series, I'll dive into why I chose these specific companies and why they deserve a certain amount of allocation they do within this portfolio. So next we have Coca-Cola, Disney, McDonald's, Realty Income Corp, and Visa. So I feel as though these companies are very good value and including so these companies are going to be my top allocated companies and I feel like they're going to be the staple of this portfolio. One, they're going to produce good cash flow for my portfolio, and two, they have very good business models and I feel as though that they're going to be here for a long-term investment. And this is why I chose these specific stocks to be um, allocated with a higher allocation for my from my portfolio. Visa, I really like as a as a stock and as a company. I feel like they're making really good moves within the market. I'll dive in a little bit more into it in the future videos when I um, do an evaluation of every stock in my portfolio. But as you can see, they do have a low dividend yield, and and but they are a high market cap, and I understand that this portfolio is based on dividend yields, but I just feel as though the Visa is doing really good things within the market and their sector. So we'll see. We'll see in the future, but I have really good hopes for Visa. So the next um, stocks I'm going to be looking at is General Mills and Verizon. They're allocated with 5% each. General Mills and Verizon, both good value companies, good products, and they have a pretty good business model. And I feel like I'm repeating myself, but they are a very good part to my portfolio here. Next, we have Aflac, Medtronic, Merck, and Walmart. Both Medtronic and Merck are within the healthcare sector. Medtronic is one of the largest medical device companies. Um, I in the cath, I work in the cath lab or the medical field, and I personally see some of their product and their equipment, and I get hands on some of the equipment that they produce, and I feel like they're a very good company. Um, their equipment is very good, and um, I just like them within my portfolio. Um, let's see again, so 2.27 dividend yield. Um, this is their stock evaluation or their stock growth, price growth over the past 2 years. But um, we'll talk about that in the future videos about when I evaluate each stock. Um, Obviously, you know what Walmart is, Aflac being an insurance company, and I think it's just a good diversification within my portfolio. All right, so next we have Apple, Avalon Bay, Microsoft. Two of these companies being Apple and Microsoft being tech companies, and although they don't produce a high dividend yield, I still think they're very good companies that belong in my portfolio, and I don't see them getting a higher allocation within my portfolio just due to the fact that um, I am looking to increase my cash flow um, through dividends within this portfolio, but we'll see in the future. I believe Apple just increased their dividend yield 2 quarters ago, so maybe we have some uh, in the future. We'll see some increase in Apple dividend yields. All right, so next companies are Bank of America, Citigroup, JP Morgan and Chase, and ExxonMobil. So, three of these companies being in the financial sector, big banks, and having a background in finance, I feel like they have a good fit within this portfolio. Um, at these allocations. So they do produce a higher dividend yield, Bank of America being 3.29, JP Morgan with a little bit over 4%, and Citigroup at 4.8 dividend. Well, the reasoning to why I don't give them a higher allocation is because of their exposure to recessions. So typically, we'll see banks get hit hard during recessions, especially now we see them extremely low prices, and uh, we'll see where they go. But I just don't see allocating more into my portfolio, more financial um, companies. But we'll see. Comment below if you have different suggestion, if you have a different thought process on that, and give me suggestions. But for now, this is what I evaluated my portfolio at. And then my last stock in my portfolio is ExxonMobil, being one of the largest oil companies. I think it's just a good fit in my portfolio at 2%. I don't look to increase the allocation of it, but I think it's just a good way to diversify my portfolio. So here that you've seen through my whole portfolio, um, I just want to be transparent with one, what's in my portfolio, two, the growth and even the declines of my portfolio, and I want to see how this will go. So my goal from 1 year from now is to grow this portfolio to about $5,000. So when I'm gonna start this portfolio, I'm gonna be starting this portfolio at just about $250. All right, that's all for today. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Comment below any questions, advice, or any suggestions, or just anything you want to tell me. Go ahead and comment below, and I'll see you next time.